Hello, everyone. My name is Robyn, and I am the creator of the Overwhelmed Empath Academy. And today we're going to be interviewing Jessa, who is a graduate of the Overwhelmed Empath Academy. We're going to see how she's doing in life and just get her take on the program in general. So, hi, Jessa.
Hello. Super
So,
excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. It is really wonderful to reconnect with some of you who have done the founding members round of the Overwhelmed Empath Academy about 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in December too. So I think it either started in December or it ended in December, but
Yes. So we're really right
yeah,
at that 3 year mark.
really, yeah, right at 3 years.
Yes. So if you were going to describe the Overwhelmed Empath Academy in just 3 words, what would those words be and why?
I think I might have put something different, like whenever I typed it. Is it okay that
Oh my
I
gosh, just whatever comes off the top of your head.
Okay, sorry. I was like, I didn't think to ask that earlier, but definitely powerful is the first thing that comes to mind. Transformative. I'm trying to think of another one is and this is where I struggled too. Whenever I was typing it out, I was like, the third one is where I really struggled because it's hard to grasp like a word to describe this, but like inspiring, I guess would be the right word
Yeah.
because it just inspired so much change, but that's also part of like the transformation. But yeah, it really just inspired me to be myself, and helped me to understand really who I am. So inspiring might not be the perfect word for it, but that's what I feel resonates.
Awesome.
So,
Those are really great words. Thank you for sharing those. So, how did the Overwhelmed Empath Academy really impact your life, both on a personal level and even like on a professional level as well?
I would definitely say that everything shifted from that moment. There were so many things that I didn't understand about myself that the academy just helped me to realize like these things that I didn't understand. Now that I understand them, I understand their gifts and I have all these new avenues, these things that I can dive into. I really just shifted my entire outlook on everything. I mean, when I say transformative, like it was so transformational. Like it really changed the trajectory of my life. I was very much so like living in the daily grind, just getting through in survival mode and being able to really understand like what I was taking on from around me and understanding like how to deal with that in a healthy way and be able to protect my energy. It really made such a huge difference in my day to day. And then for my professional life, I work in cybersecurity. So I'm always around electronics, technology. So the parts of the academy where we learned about crystals, that part kind of blew my mind because when I first started at this company, I had bought all these crystals and I really looking back, I don't even know like how I picked them or anything. Like they just called to me. And then once I learned more about them in the Overwhelmed Empath Academy, I was like, wow, these crystals are so spot on for like what I needed. Like it was just crazy. So now I have a lot more crystals at work. And I have like all these little things on my desk. So when people walk by, like they get little inspiring quotes. I have these conversations at work now where I'm not afraid to be myself and to shine my light. So I've had these really transformational conversations with people at work who I would have never imagined to have that conversation with. And I feel like just being able to understand myself as an empath and being able to shine my light as an empath, it really just helped me to be myself fully and to be there for those whenever they're looking for those conversations.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And I love to hear, how you intuitively were called to those crystals. If you can remember, that's my favorite way to choose crystals is to just let yourself be drawn to them and then look up what they mean and be really surprised
Yeah,
that it's like exactly what you're needing in that
right.
moment.
It's like, wow. And I
Yeah.
think I did do that right after the academy. There was a new crystal shop that opened up across the street, and I was like, I'm just gonna go and let one call to me. Well, I bought three of them and they had mistakenly labeled them as something else. They ended up being celestite. I think that's how you say it. It's like a for angelic guidance. And that was what I was working on at the time, was like connecting with my angels. I was like, wow, I couldn't have asked for, I couldn't have gone in there looking for that because they didn't even have it labeled correctly. So like, wow, like your intuition just always knows.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like the information that you learned and the tools and the skills that you gathered in the academy, do you feel like it also helped you in your motherhood as an empath?
Yeah, especially with the toddler, because there are so many emotions and things that they're learning about. And then as a second time mother with my first, I didn't really have all those tools that I had with my second one. So I definitely noticed a difference in like my mothering, my first versus my second, like having that toolkit and being able to ground. And not only that, but like realizing that my child is also, my youngest is also an empath, and being able to teach him how to ground. And like he's so cute, he's always talking about energy, and like he says it really cute, he always says energy.
Oh my God, I
And
love the
I just
way
love
that
it.
toddlers say things.
Yeah, I know, I love it. And he just, and it's not just with me either, he feels safe to be able to express those things anywhere with anyone. And if he can feel someone's energy is off, he'll be like, you need to ground your energy. And it's just so cute. Like
I love that.
so being like more knowledgeable as an empath has helped not only me as a mother, but it has helped me to help him understand like who he is. And
Yeah.
sometimes those emotions are not his either. So
Mhm. And it's powerful too to think back to when we were little empaths and, our parents maybe not having this knowledge or understanding about our sensitivities and how you're interrupting that cycle and being a cycle breaker so that you can infuse your child and having this knowledge so they can grow up and feel really sure about themselves and their abilities. And it's like you're saving him from having to do the Overwhelmed Empath Academy one day.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it makes a huge difference having a parent who understands.
Absolutely. What specific tools or techniques did you learn that really significantly helped you navigate your empathic abilities?
Um, I would say the biggest was definitely grounding. That was something that I had never heard of before, had never learned about. And once I started doing it, it was just one of those things like I can tell now if I'm not grounded. And it's just I don't know how I went my whole life without knowing about grounding, because it's like that important.
Mhm.
And especially maybe because I'm an earth sign, I'm a Taurus, so maybe that's more so like why grounding is really important for me to connect with Mama Gaia. But yeah, grounding for sure. Some of the knowledge on crystals, like that was another area that like I loved crystals because they were beautiful, but I didn't understand like their properties and their metaphysical qualities and all of that. So understanding that, that was really helpful. And I really liked the practice that we did for our intuition. So that was something that I had never done anything like that before, but I have these intuitive abilities that I was able to practice and learn like, oh wow, like this is a gift that I have that I can utilize, for good things, and it's like, whoa, I would have never imagined any of those three things. Like I would have never learned that like just out and about, in the world. So like those
Powerful.
were so valuable.
Yeah, and grounding, that's like in my opinion, the number one tool for empaths, for all humans, but specifically for empaths to help us with all the extra energy that courses through us that we're reading and we're feeling all the time. And a really simple way that there are different techniques of grounding. So, when you can get outside and ground, you have the ability to ground naturally like that. But when you're in a space and it's freezing cold or you're stuck in a building, you also get to learn how to energetically ground so that you can ground no matter what, no matter where you are to really help and you can get really quick and good at it, or it doesn't have to
Yep.
take you, a super long time to feel grounded again.
Yeah, I especially like if I'm driving, like if I forget to ground before I get in the car or something, I'm like, okay, I'm at a stoplight. I can ground really quickly. And yeah, you're right. Like once you do it for so long, I feel like it's just like second nature. It's very quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you found those tools and that they were just so impactful for you to add into your life.
Yeah, thank you. I
Oh, you're so welcome.
appreciate like you sharing all your knowledge because these are things that are so important as empaths for us to know and understand about ourselves and like the tools that we have available to us that aren't common knowledge. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Have there been any unexpected or surprising ways in which the skills and practices that you learned, like grounding, in the program have become really integrated into your daily life or your long-term goals?
um, I would say I now have like a daily ritual where I'll always ground and then I connect with source. And then I go through and I just patch any holes in my aura and remove energetic cords. That was another thing I had learned about in the academy that I didn't know about were energetic cords. So that was something really major for me was just making sure that I'm checking on those things. As an empath, like we might take on those energetic cords without even realizing it, and then it can drain us. So just making those daily practices instead of like, oh man, I haven't been feeling good, I need to check my energy. Being more proactive and making that something that like I consistently do so that my vibration stays high and that I'm in the space that I want to be in. And then also that has shifted me into like this whole new area of like energy healing and sound healing. And I feel like those are things I incorporate into those as well. So anytime I record a sound healing, I'll go through and I'll ground myself and I'll connect with source. But then also, like any meditations I do, I bring in grounding energy. I set the intention for grounding for anyone who listens. So those are definitely things that I would have never, I don't think I would have ever done otherwise. So it's definitely become like a daily uh, habit.
It sounds like a lot of what you were learning and exposed to in the academy really helped to be like a catalyst to take you on a path that led you to sound healing and using your intuitive abilities and learning Reiki and
Yeah.
really allowing you to feel like you can fully step into you and use your gifts to then help other empaths and help other people to feel better energetically and physically.
Yeah, and I can also differentiate like when I'm not feeling like myself. So whenever I am, if there's more collective energy than normal, being able to discern like, is this mine? Is this someone else's? And knowing like, okay, here's my toolkit. Like I did some grounding, I did some clearing, I still kind of feel off. Like I still have all these other tools that I can go to help me with those things versus before where I was just like chaotic, scattered, and just, I didn't feel my best. And sometimes I wasn't myself because I was absorbing all these other energies. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely was a huge shift for my daily life.
Yeah. So it sounds like you really were able to take that space of being an overwhelmed empath and move into the empowered empath and
Yes.
really finding your strengths and your abilities in the sensitivities that used to be part of the overwhelm.
Yeah, because as an empath, I had labeled it as like something negative because that's all I knew were the negative aspects. And then the academy taught me the positive ones and how to differentiate and then, really utilize those gifts more so that I'm not like overwhelmed anymore. You're right. Like I feel more empowered.
Oh, I love that so much. So, last question. Looking back, what advice or insights would you offer to individuals who are considering joining the upcoming round of the Academy, and particularly in terms of how the program has supported you beyond the initial learning period?
I think whenever I was considering it, I had a lot of self-doubt, thinking like, am I really an empath? Like, is this something that's right for me? But I trusted my intuition that guided me to Robin. And I'm glad that I did. So if your intuition has you considering this course, listen to your intuition. If you have, questions about being an empath, Robin has a quiz that will help you understand more about like being an empath. I think that's a really good place to start. And if that resonates with you, I think this course is life changing. Like, and I don't mean that subtly. Like that is, I have told so many people that this was a big part of the start of my journey. And I definitely recommend the Overwhelmed Empath Academy just because it really did change my life. It put me into being my authentic self and just helps me to get through my day to day. And I feel like after 3 years, sometimes you kind of forget about like where you came from. And it's like looking back, I'm like, whoa, it's such a big difference.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful that you had this course and that I trusted my intuition and I took it. And yeah, it's definitely life changing.
Oh, well,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much. It's like such an honor to hear how much the course impacted you and has continued to support you and really guide you on this path to your authentic self. It is just means everything to me as this course was created from the depths of me having to move through the same things that you all move through when you're in that overwhelmed state as an empath and really feeling like, I don't know if I can take much more of this and really wanting to shut down from the world because it all feels like too much. And instead, you're able to unravel yourself from that and move into that empowered state where you're now helping shine your light to impact others and create easier, lighter paths for others, which is like this beautiful ripple effect of it that I just love so much. Mm.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely true. Like being able to be empowered as an empath and shine your light, you're able to spread that light to others. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us today and, sharing all of this information so that others who are interested can hear firsthand, how it impacted and supported you. And instead of just hearing from me, who's teaching the course. So I really appreciate you taking that time today to share your experience with the world.
yeah, thanks so much. I look forward to the academy that's coming up.
Yeah.
It
We're looking
starts in
forward to it.
January, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
First
right around the corner.
on the 8th of January. Yep.
Well,
So
thank you.
you're welcome. Thanks for being here.